Right. Yes. What are the practical benefits in day-to-day life that accrue from practicing the method, speaking operationally, and understanding natural law?
And
Great
this was from
question.
me.
First of all, Martin, read your answer, and then I want to hear what
I don't
Brad
have
said.
one for that.
Okay, Brad, what's the benefit? First of all, let me answer one question. We don't speak operationally, right? We understand operational prose, right? We may write equations we might write things down operation, but you hear us speak, we're speaking. It sounds like English, right? Mostly. So, Brad, what's the benefit of knowing how to do the work?
To me, the benefit is being able to understand the underlying principles of human behavior and operate within that realm from first principles to achieve efficient results. And that's the effect is it cuts through a lot of nonsense and allows you to short circuit to an operating outcome that's desirable by both parties to cooperate with someone.
That's the least emotional example you've ever given of this question. So I'm gonna riff off that. Here's what I've heard you say before. The world just makes sense. Right? Now that the world makes sense, people's behavior makes sense. And you don't have to get angry at them anymore because they're just bots and they're doing the best they can to get through life. But you now have the ability to express your ideas further so that you're not frustrated in explaining your ideas to other people. And that you can assist people in their journey because you're able to communicate in terms they can understand how to help them on their journey, which helps all of us. So I'm going to be sarcastic, humorous for a second. For me, it's like, I was like, how can I talk to you fucking animals, right? I mean, I need clicks and something. That's really how I thought, right? I mean, it was just horrible. But what it's allowed me to do is to put into words, as despite Moritz just teased me about talking about dimensional differences in space and memory, it expressed my thoughts in a way that I can reach more people. So, Moritz, you raised your hand because you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I mean, this question came from me, and I thought it would be helpful for people to hear it and to hear the answers to it, of course. My own answer to that is that mindfulness was one big one, meaning that I can pretty perfectly now or pretty comprehensively assign my attention to things that are worth my attention. And I don't spend it on things that are not worth my attention because I know that if I go down that road, I will waste it on somebody who is not receptive to the things that I will say. And so in those instances, I can just rely on the typical means of persuasion or of defense to keep them away from me enough that I can do the things I want to do. And that's it. And if they show themselves receptive to influence, then you can help them first understand in the first place what they actually care about, which lots of people don't, or at least they heap on top of what they actually care about all kinds of assumptions for what that means about how they have to go about their lives now. And then you can help them take away that craft, and then they can proceed actually with much more energy because they're not spending their energy on things that don't matter. And so for me, having done the work to operationalize something or to enumerate, to serialize using these methods or these tools to gain an actual in-depth understanding of a subject matter or of a particular thing you're attempting to measure provides me with the confidence, that the justified confidence based on competence, that I know I can go into the depths when I need to. And I don't have to anymore at all points along the way, but it means if I need to, I will be able to, which means I can take greater risks. It means I can operate much faster because I no longer fear the negative consequences of somebody outgunning me in the intellectual realm, if you will, or in any other domain.
Right. So I want to pick up on something you said that I forgot to, which is mindfulness. Because I just said you can understand the world. Religion, the purpose of religion is actually to produce mindfulness, right? It's to give you an understanding of the world so that you can not feel anxious about it And secondly, so that you're less open to manipulation by other people. Right? That's the second reason. And because if you're less open, then you're going to be more mindful because you have lower anxiety. Because you can dismiss things that are false and ridiculous and whatever, and manipulations, because you see them. I mean, who's telling me? Oh, I don't want to quote a famous person, but a famous person talked to me the other day and says, "You taught me so much about language now that when people are lying to me, it just makes me laugh inside, that they don't even know they're doing it." So anyway, so mindfulness is critically important, and so this is a way of achieving mindfulness by I have 2 points to make, Moritz, before I hand it off. Mindfulness by non-superstitious means, in other words, by scientific means. The second thing is that there is a question, though, of how much you want the utility to achieve what you want versus to insulate yourself from abuses that other people want to put upon you. And in my view, that's the question I'm facing with our method, is that you're able to, anyway, I'll let you take this because I know this is something you want to run with.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what I was going to say, which is that when you practice this, you will be naturally able to rise to the station that you are capable of actually holding, rather than being locked into a lower stage or state or role than what your genetic, cultural, familial capital would afford you, if only you practice this because you're no longer spending energy on things that don't matter, and you can spend them on things that do.
And you're no longer affected by things that don't matter.
And you, because you understand the first principles, and because you then learn experientially how to apply them meaningfully in actual cooperative pursuits, you can then actually engineer cooperative arrangements that actually can work and then do produce surplus. And so lots of the time people, they don't understand why the institutions or the organizations that they are a part of work. And so they cannot take on actual responsibility, actual leadership, because they're blind to what all the conditions are for it to work. And so when you do, you can actually rise inside organizations, or you can even create your own organizations when you understand them and when you gain experiential competence in them.
Mm-hmm. I know this is an interest of yours. I think you brought up something else, which is I don't think is obvious or that we talk about, is we actually talk about the entire scale, from the individual to this intersocial to the sexes to the classes to the elites to the polities to the civilizational differences. And when we do this, one of the things that I don't know if we've overcome, but it seems to be evident, is that I noticed that one of the problems most people have is they have no perception of working in organizations at scale. Right. And if they do, they don't understand the organizations, as you just said, and how they function. And by explaining these different behaviors, you give people to understand why organizations work the way they do of all scales. Now we focus on social, political, and civilizational orders, but there's no reason you wouldn't apply it as you have to cooperative economic or business or industrial orders.
Yeah, I think another benefit that's unstated but also extremely important is it can depoliticize or de-escalate disagreements, because you have an actual measure by which you can judge whether something you're involved in is productive, reciprocal, and so on, or not. And you can actually teach the people around you how to evaluate whether what they're participating in is useful overall, and then to judge their participation against that measure. When they don't have that, everything devolves into how can I get what I want or what I and mine want, regardless of the consequences for myself, for others, and for the overall conditions we all rely upon to have any cooperative enterprise whatsoever.
Correct.